Naam, baadhi ya viongozi walioteuliwa na Mheshimiwa Rais William Samoei Arap Ruto kuchukua uongozi wa baadhi ya wizara mbalimbali hapa nchini Kenya bado wanaendelea kupigwa msasa kwenye bunge la kitaifa. Na hapo asubuhi Mheshimiwa Kipchumba Murkomen aliyependekezwa kuwa waziri wa uchukuzi na barabara alishapigwa msasa, alishafika mbele ya wabunge ili kuhojiwa. Na kwa hivi sasa ni zamu ya Mheshimiwa Peninah Malonza ambaye anapendekezwa kuwa waziri wa utalii na wanyamapori. Na tutaenda moja kwa moja hadi kwenye bunge la kitaifa tupate yanayojiri. Hii bila shaka ni runinga uipendayo ya KDR, ikiwa tunapeperusha matangazo yetu moja kwa moja kutoka hapa nchini Kenya na kule ughaibuni.
In one of the package in Magical Kenya, we have begun getting in touch with top operators and included our champions in the package. And I believe that we can use the top operators with a targeted materials to market us out there. Again, I'll be looking forward to collaborate with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs so that we can use our missions out there. We start a tourism desk and provide targeted materials for international markets. I know it is a concern, and I was watching when His Excellency Alfred Mutua was being interviewed by this vetting group, and I know the open sky issue and using of our missions out there came aboard. I want to say that I'll be also collaborating with my counterpart in Transport Ministry to pursue reinstating the charter planes that we used to have flying direct to Mombasa. I've grown in Mombasa, and I used to witness all that. And therefore, I want to assure you that that's an area I have an interest as I come aboard, and I will be engaging the Minister of Foreign Affairs. Question number 3, I'll combine it with the last question from Honorable Naisula on compensation. Is it still feasible? Yes, it is. The only challenge that has been there, this particular budget line has been receiving very slim budget, because today we have compensations worthy 5 billion to be paid. The budget that we planned, that we budgeted, was around 2.5 million. And this budget for sure cannot compensate everybody. And therefore, we have to carry this backlog to the following year, and that's why the numbers, the amounts have been increasing. I want to plead, and I will be pleading with the Committee on Tourism, Wildlife, and Heritage to improve on this budget line, but also looking at the sustainability of it. It may not be sustainable. Therefore, I'm looking forward, if this committee will approve me, I'm looking forward to engaging in a long-term strategy where we can look at how do we compensate our people. And one of the things that is coming across my mind is seeking insurances and also invoking the World Conservation Fund to see whether we can benefit from the carbon credits and see whether we can utilize that fund at least to compensate our people besides the normal line that we have from Treasury.
You are done?
No, this is the last question.
Go on, Peninah.
There's the last. There's the last question.
From Ms. Honorable Murugara, the animal corridors.
Yes.
Or trading corridors. Yes. And the conservancies.
I'm on the trading corridors, but I'll also be coming back to conservancies.
Chair, not to interrupt, but because I'm looking at time and almost half of us have not asked, can some of the submission be written and submitted?
Peninah, continue.
Thank you very much.
The whole country is watching you. Who is going to look after our parks?
Thank
Who
you
is
very
going
much.
to bring tourists? Who is going to compensate Kenyans mauled by wild animals?
Thank you.
Yes.
Our national parks are becoming obsolete, no? There was a question on allowing livestock to graze in our national park. I'm aware of the Wildlife Compensation and Management Act that strictly doesn't allow grazing in the parks. However, I know that it allows grazing in the conservancies. And therefore, this is, well, we are tied by the law, especially in grazing in the national parks. I find a contradiction because the forest also allows, the forest law allows for grazing, and therefore we'll be sitting with my counterpart to harmonize and see how best we can harmonize the areas that we can allow. Am I considering a corridor in the structure? This is an area that I will need to look at the legislation and see if we can open. However, I know it's an area that it has players also in terms of the physical structure of the roads, and therefore I'll be looking at the documentation of that. Thank you.
The Honorable Mule, the Honorable Emase, the Honorable Ferdinand, the Honorable, there's a point clarification or? Yes, sir.
Yeah. Mr. Speaker, I asked a very important question on conservancies that are operating outside the realm of the ministry. Can she tell us if she is aware and what she is likely to do to bring it under the ministry?
Peninah.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair, for reminding me that question. I may not be aware of all the conservancies, but I will be looking into the report But what I'm aware is that the conservancies needs to be licensed, and therefore I'll be looking into the report on the mushrooming conservancies in this country. Thank you.
Point of order.
Yes, Victoria.
Chair, maybe you can ask the clerk department. This place is so hot, so if they could do something about the hewa. But secondly, also you had called only three.
No, I'm giving the next lot is the Honorable Mule, Emase, Daoud, Ikaria, and Ferdinand.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
I said one question each.
Yes. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much, nominee, for coming. I want to get just one strategy from the nominee on how she'll deal with the following issues. Kenya has no longer become a favorable hub for the African market and the tourism. We know we are sort of losing that to Tanzania. The drought issue and environmental degradation in our parks, poaching menace, illegal wildlife trade, and the recent terror on attacks to the country, COVID, and now Ebola. How, just one strategy you'll use to deal with those issues to make sure that we regain the glory we used to know Kenya as the best destination for tourism. Thank you.
Emase.
Thank you. To the nominee, you've been nominated to a ministry that requires serious reengineering interventions to bring it back to its rightful footing. You've just heard from members, and we've experienced as Kenyans, that international tourism has drastically reduced since COVID, and the country has not also fully embraced domestic tourism. Now, my concern is, whereas tourism, part of the tourism is devolved, domestic tourism, we find that other counties have not realized their potential, despite having unique and competitive attraction sites. So, as the nominee, how do you intend to do to bridge that gap? Because we must bridge that gap if the country is going to gain from the tourism sector. Thank you.
Honorable Daoud.
Thank you, Speaker, Chair. First of all, I just want, Mr. Speaker, to ask the nominee, did she say 2.5 million is the compensation from Parliament, or did she say 250 million? That is
2.5.
2.5.
Yes.
I don't know, because I know the budget line for compensation has been low, but it has never been 2.5. But let me ask my question now, because I think she needs to correct whatever she's got. Human-wildlife conflict has been an age-old thing, and we've got Rhino Arc, which has done fencing in some of the areas in the country, and the game parks, which are being controlled now mostly by the county governments. How, in your opinion, will you handle these three matters about human-wildlife conflict, creating the buffer zone or fencing, and giving a helping hand to county governments in handling those game parks and lodges in the game parks? But I think that you should get your facts a bit better, because 2.5 million is completely out.
Yes. Who was the next?
It was me.
Vicaria.
Yeah, thank you. Madam Peninah, there is this aspect of poaching and illegal wildlife trade. And it is really affecting this tourism sector. And one of the issues that has always come up is the declining human resource of the game wardens. And I'm told for the last 7 years, I think they have never done any recruitment. Maybe what will you do to try and improve the number of game wardens? And more so, these game wardens, despite stopping this poaching and illegal trade, they're also in charge of the baboons, which are causing menace to most of the places. And not only the baboons, including snake bites. There has been a lot of issue coming from snake bites and the escalating anti-venom prices. So it's becoming a big issue. So maybe what strategy or what policy issue will you put in place so that you can be able to address that? And lastly, we know that some of these counties, I know of course, with the fall of BBI, we anticipated to have gotten an increase of 10 billion shillings in Nakuru if it had gone through. But now since it fell, there is this issue of considering giving Nakuru County some of the national parks, just like you've done in other counties, so that they can be able to boost their income at the local level and be able to address some of the issues that are supposed to be addressed. And we have almost, in Nakuru County, we have over, I think, 17, if I'm not wrong. So maybe just giving out one or two, like Nakuru National Park to the Nakuru County, so that it can be able to supplement the deficit of what would have come from BBI. Thank you.
Ferdinand. Ferdinand.
Ms. Malonza, let me just draw your attention to what is happening. There's a lot of conflict, I think, because of population increase. And you'll find that people are now encroaching into the parks. I know, for example, Mount Elgon is a park there. People have now got into the Mount Elgon. Sacco National Park, I know for sure. I'm told, I've not seen them, but I'm told there's human encroachment in these parks. So what mechanism are you coming up with to be able to stop this for the benefit of tourism in this country? Specifically, come up with what are you going to do to stop this conflict?
You can now answer those 5 questions. You got all of them?
Yes, I did.
Good.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. I'll start with the first question from Honorable Mule on one strategy that I will employ. One of the strategies that I will employ is rebranding Kenya or repositioning Kenya. How do we reposition Kenya? Reaching out to our traditional markets there. Also reaching out to new emerging markets like China and Japan. The other strategy I'll use is developing new niche products. I know traditionally we've sold tourism products of our beaches and also the wildlife. But currently we have the new millennia who are really interested in adventure and in sport. and also in cultural activities. And therefore, this is a strategy that I will be looking to bring on if this honorable vetting committee will approve me. There was a question on a correction. It's true, it's not 2.5. And I'll say that it is below 2.5. And that's why I said if this committee approves me, I'll be engaging to see. However, we are also diversifying this area.
Peninah, it's good to be factual.
Yes.
The honorable member was doubtful that the amount of money available for compensation in the cases of injuries to human beings by wildlife is 2.5 million. Now you are saying it is below 2.5 million.
Sorry, I thought I had said billion.
You said million.
Sorry for that.
You meant billion.
Yes, I meant billion.
Okay, it's corrected.
Yeah.
A point of order, Chair. I think we need to remind the nominee that he is speaking to us under oath. And if I remember the words in the oath, she'll respond the truth, bare truth, and the truth will set her free.
Chair, if the nominee does not know, she should say, I do not know, but I will check my records, and probably in future, if she is approved, then she will tell us. But for now, when she tells us 2.5, then she says 2.5 million and billion. Next, she'll say 2.5 trillion. So I'm wondering, if she's not sure about any fact, she should leave it out. That's what I'm saying.
Thank you. Peninah, you know, in an interview, an exchange like this, even no is an answer. You don't have to hazard guesses. If it's not clear, not everybody knows everything. It is how you will engage when you are in office if we approve you. You can say you'll formulate policy, you'll bring legislation, you'll go and check, you'll try to find out. All those kind of responses are good answers.
Thank you, Honorable Chair, for that correction, and Honorable Member for that correction. Allow me to correct that and say I'll check the report and move to the third question on conflict between human and wildlife and how I will battle this out. It is true that we have increased human-wildlife in the country, and I want to state that one of the reasons why we are having this is because of the climate change, the reduced pasture in the parks, in the national parks, and also water. And if this committee will approve me, I will be looking to constructing water ponds within the national parks, basically to restrict the animals, and also continue the fencing program so that we can restrict the animals to the confines of the park. Again, giving Nakuru County, Nakuru National Park. I believe that the law is very clear on the national government, national parks being under national government, and therefore we are at an age and era, and I believe that this August House, if they feel this is an area that we need to relook, then we will the August House will approve, and we will legislate on this area. Encroachment and what plans I have, it is true that there's increased encroachment, and one of the things that I plan to do is to work with the Minister of Lands and see and ask them to cease the subdivision